So let's start in child's pose. Come into it in any way that serves you. I like my knees wide, my hips at my heels, my forehead resting on something. So, it's a good time right now if you feel like you want a little support by a block or a pillow, just to grab that, have it handy. If your head doesn't land on your mat, bring something under it, even your hands. Right? And then let's just take a little time here to settle in and to sort of set the foundation for our practice before we bring movement into our bodies. So feel free, though, at any time to wiggle or shift around so that you can get comfortable in some of these shapes. So here in this shape, in child's pose, you want to just let your shoulders relax. You don't want to effort anywhere physically, right? In the arms, even in the jaw. You want to let the belly soften and the breath start to smooth out and lengthen out. And the breath really becomes the foundation of our yoga practice, right? So tuning into the breath so completely that your mind starts to let go of all the other ruminating thoughts that float in. And I know that's a tall order, but that's what we endeavor to do. So see if the breath can be interesting. See if you can really fill up just to a comfortable degree as you inhale. And as you empty out, really let go. Start to soften any places that you're holding tension physically. So really bring the mind and the body together with the breath, right? The breath becomes sort of the bridge to connect the mind and body. And often it's at the top of the inhale in that fullness that you feel a little bit more sensations physically. And at the bottom of the exhale, where there's really a softening and letting go, that you really feel into the muscles and the tension that you can release. And see if you can just hold that awareness throughout the whole cycle of your breath. And know that it's not easy, right? So that's okay. This is already a little bit of a challenge, even just to stay centered, to stay still. Sometimes we get fidgety or anxious or antsy or frustrated in the stillness, and that's okay, right? You're challenging yourself to be a little still, a little quiet here before we amp things up. So just take a nice deep breath in, let the low back, the ribs expand. Open the lips, let it all go, and really soften in. Feel yourself sort of melt toward the floor a little bit more. Good. And then extend the hands forward. And as the palms flatten against the mat, can you crawl the fingertips forward and pull the hip creases back a little bit so the elbows are lifting? Go ahead and lift the head off the floor. Good. And then when you're ready, look at your hands. See if they're kind of wonky, like is there an unevenness there in the shoulders? Mine typically are. And just to notice that, right? When you're ready, pull against the floor and come all the way up to hands and knees. And then bring your knees a little closer under your hips. We're going to start with a little arm stretch. So left hand stays where it is. Right arm threads under. Lay on the back of the right shoulder and back of the right hand, right temple or ear. And see if you can slide the shoulder down, down, down away from the ear. And so it's a little bit of a neck release here. And again, feel into the breath. That softening as you exhale, and we're just smoothing out the breath. Using the breath as a link to the mind and body. So it helps your awareness come back to the physical sensations that you're feeling. Soften the jaw. Really let go as you exhale here, and then press into the left hand, come back up, both hands on the floor, and left arm threading under. Lay on the back of the shoulder, slide the shoulder down away from the ear, palm flipped up. That right hand is there to offer you some support, and just see if you can soften the left side of the neck, the jaw, the mouth, the face, the eyes. Smooth out the breath. Let something go. in that left side of the neck as you exhale. One more breath. Oh, these are so good for me. Press into the right hand. I hope they're good for you. Come back to hands and knees. And then just crawl a little forward on your mat. So knees are under hips, wrists are under shoulders if they weren't before. As you pull the hands toward your knees, take the heart forward, draw the shoulders back, widen the collarbones, gaze out, inhale. So it's a little sway back. They call it cow for obvious reasons. And on your exhale, drop the head, press into the floor, and dome the back. They call it cat. I think of a Halloween cat here. And then again, inhale, heart forward, shoulders back, hands pull toward the knees. And rounding as you exhale, pull the belly toward the spine, separate the shoulder blades. Maybe give the head a little wiggle, the hips a little wiggle here. And then return to a cow pose. Belly dropping, shoulders sliding back, tailbone sloping up. From here, we'll curl the toes under and come into your down dog. Lead with the hips. The tailbone sloping up and back. The hands pressing and then hang the head. And if you need to readjust where the feet are here, feel free to readjust, right? Sometimes when your low back's tender, it's nice to take the feet wider or farther back. And just, if your heels touch the mat, you can lift all 10 toes. If the heels don't touch the mat, it's okay. You just work on driving them down a little bit, pulling the hips up and back, hanging the head. And just enjoying some length there through the hamstrings, the arms, the spine, and lengthen the breath. Steady the breath, to steady the mind, steady the gaze. Find a little stillness here in this first downward facing dog when you're ready. Root into the knuckles at the base of those index fingers. See if the shoulder blades can separate a bit. So the armpits almost come a little closer beneath you. The inner thighs roll back, right? What are you noticing? What are you feeling physically, mentally? How's the breath flowing? So yoga is really all about bringing our awareness inward, because typically in our days, our awareness is outward, the external world. This is all about you. Make it sweet. Take care of yourself with loving, kind thoughts. And then from here, we're just going to walk the hands back toward the feet. So take the feet a little wide if that's nice, and just drop in. Drop the head, drop the hands. You can clasp opposite elbows here. If you need the knees a little bit, no worries, bend the knees a little bit. Just see if you can feel the weight of the head, maybe rock a little if that's nice. Heels are still heavy, sit bones are lifting, breath is flowing. Release the hands, take the feet nice and wide if they weren't. Fingers on the floor, lengthen the spine. So it doesn't matter what it looks like, okay? It doesn't need to look like mine, and not that there's one that's better than the other, but take the right fingertips to the floor, right underneath your face there in the center line, and then lift the left hand up. Okay, so it's a little bit of a twist. Really root into the heels. See if you can draw the thigh bones back and lift the heart a little bit away from the floor. If you want to turn the gaze left, turn the gaze left. Good. And take an inhale as your hands kind of pull toward the feet to lengthen the heart forward, even a micro inch. And then release the left hand as you exhale. Take it right onto the floor, right there in the center line, fingertips, so your hand is tented. And take the right hand up. Right, so lift the heart away from the floor. Draw the thigh bones back. Find some length through the spine. Root into the heels. Good. Take one more inhale. Rotate any amount. And release the right hand down. Hang the head for a moment. Clasp the elbows the opposite way for a moment. And breathe. All right, we're going to crawl the hands back toward the top of the yoga mat. We're going to shift forward into plank pose. Bring the feet closer together. Press into the floor. Pull the belly away from the floor. Slide the shoulders away from the ears. Put a little smile on your face if you want. If it's too much, drop your knees. Otherwise, right foot floats off the floor. Reach the heel back. Take an inhale. Right knee to the nose or chest as you exhale. You can round. Extend it back, three-legged plank. Inhale, set it down. Exhale, second side. Left foot floats up. Inhale, drive the inner heel back. Knee toward the nose as you exhale. You can drop your head. Extend it back. Inhale, find some length there from heel to head. And plank pose, exhale. Good, take a breath in. Lower to the mat as you exhale. Knees can drop first, and then chest. Good, keep the hands where they are. Roll the shoulders back. Lift the heart any amount. Inhale, cobra. Roll back down as you exhale. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, cobra. Hands can pull toward the hips. Release. Exhale, chin down. Last one. Inhale, cobra. Hug those outer ankles in if they sickle out. Come up to hands and knees as you exhale. Use your belly, curl the toes under. Tailbone leads the way to downward facing dog. And breathe. Thigh bones back. Heels dipping, head hanging, hands pressing. Index finger knuckles rooted. Good. Lift your heels here. Bend the knees. Look forward as you inhale. And walk to the front of your yoga mat as you exhale. Take as many steps as you need. Heart lifts. Inhale, flatten out your back, lengthen the spine, and drop into your fold as you exhale. And then with soft knees and a flat back, just rise on up and reach up. Inhale, touch the ceiling. Hands to the heart. Exhale. Belly pulls in. Find your Tadasana here for a moment. Shoulders back and down. Navel in, tail down. Root equally into your feet. And can we draw the head back ever so slightly, because for most of us, our heads jet forward. Yeah. And as you draw the head back, pull the belly back so you feel the core supporting that. Good. On your next inhale, just reach up. You can open up the hands. Fold forward as you exhale and drop your head. Good. Flat back. Inhale, lengthen the spine. That might mean bending knees. Plank pose and lower down as you exhale. Cobra. Inhale, just the one time here. Downward dog, through bent knees is fine. Exhale. And breathe. Steady the mind, steady the gaze, steady the breath. Let's do it one more time. Lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale. Walk or float to the front. Exhale. Lengthen on your inhale. Melt in half as you exhale. Empty all the breath. With a flat back, press and rise to standing on your inhalation. Reach up. Hands to the heart, belly to the spine. Exhale, draw the head back over the heels. Reaching up. Inhale, you can lean back if it's nice. Folding into your exhale, lead with your heart, drop your head. Lengthen as you inhale, fingers on the floor if possible. Plank and lower, exhale. So really press down instead of collapsing. Heart lifts, cobra. Inhale, nice and easy. And down dog, exhale, breathe. Nice. Starts to feel good when we can start to loosen things up a bit, doesn't it? I find. All right, from down dog, separate your feet enough that they're just a tiny bit wider than your hips here. And then lift both heels off the mat, come to the tippy toes, and swivel both heels over to the right. So the right toes are going to aim right at that left heel. And then draw the hips up and back. Drop that left shoulder or armpit a little bit. See if the feet can almost flatten against the floor there. Good. And then back onto the tippy toes. Inhale, heels high. And heels swivel to the left as you exhale. Good. And then draw the hips back away from the hands. Drop that right armpit a little bit. See if the feet can flatten toward the floor. They may not, it's okay. And just notice what you're feeling. Steady the breath. Good, back onto the tippy toes. Inhale, hips sloping up. Bend the knees, look forward, get low. Pull the hips away from the hands. One more inhale here. Walk to the front of your mat. Exhale. Flatten out, inhale, heart lifts. Fold in half, exhale, head hangs, big toes touch together, so wiggle them close. Bend your two knees, come to the chair pose. So hips low, hands high. If you want some support, hands right onto the thighs to lengthen the spine, drop the shoulders. Otherwise, hands can lift, palms face each other, pinkies rotate towards each other so that upper shoulders feel broad. And you just drop in. Lift all 10 toes if you want to play. See if you can look down and see your toes. So you want to try to shift the knees back a little. Weight is in the heels.
Draw the head back, pull the navel back, steady your breath, steady your gaze. And you determine how low or high your hips go today, right? It's all good. You might sink a little lower as you inhale, and then stand up as you exhale. Hands come to your heart. Reach up. Inhale, open up, lean back if you'd like to. Fold in half. Exhale. Flat back. Inhale. Step it back and lower if you want to on the exhale, or hold the plank and wait. Cobra. Inhale. And downward dog. Exhale. Right foot lifts up behind you here. Inhale, three-legged dog. Pause. Let the left heel dip toward the mat. Turn the right toes out to the right. Then the right knee, aim it up. So you might want to wriggle the foot around. Notice if that right armpit is lifting, drop it. Drive the left thigh bone back. Good. On your next exhale, shift forward, right knee to the outer right elbow. Can you pause and hold it? Engage the back leg, lift the face away from the floor, and try to lift the knee higher toward the shoulder. Reach it up and back. Inhale, three-legged. Right knee, left elbow, exhale. Good. Hold it. Lift it up toward the elbow. If you want to play a little, pivot your back heel flat, lean into the right hand, and lift the left hand up. If you want a little bit more, you can extend the right foot out to the right, straightening the leg. Even rest the pinky edge of the foot on the floor and lift the hips away from the floor. Good. Left hand comes back down. Right knee bends toward the chest. Reach it up and back. Three-legged dog. Inhale, I know. Step it up to the right hand as you exhale. Sorry about all that. Pivot the back heel flat. Gently lengthen the spine, pulling the heart forward as you hug this right hip back. And then stay nice and low over the front thigh and just float your arms back like airplane wings. Thumbs out, palms facing the floor. Lengthen the crown of the head away from the hip, rooting into that back foot. On your next inhale, rise up, reach up. Warrior one. So often the right hip shifts forward. Can you shift the right hip back so the inner left thigh rolls back and maybe sink a little lower into the legs? And then just reach one hand a little higher than the other, just sort of shimmying side to side through the two sides of the waist. Should feel kind of nice. I'm going to take your hands behind your head, interlace the fingers, let the head fall back against the hands, draw the elbows apart, open the heart. Good, make it feel nice, you guys. Breathe into the heart center. Good, sink a little lower in the front leg, take the arms up, inhale, stretch. Hands to the floor, exhale, step it back, plank pose or three-legged plank, inhale, lower, exhale. Cobra, inhale, down dog, exhale, breathe. Loosening up, opening up, right? Not just our bodies, but our minds. Okay. Second side, left foot lifts up on the inhale, three-legged dog. Pausing here, turn the toes out, bend the lifted knee, aim it up. Drive the right heel toward the floor, whether it touches or not. Drive the right thigh bone back. You can wiggle the left foot. Notice if that left armpit lifts away from the floor more than the right, and can you anchor it down a bit? Breathing, steadying. Can you soften something in this little challenge? On your next exhale, shift forward, left knee up to the outer left arm. Hold the pose, don't hold the breath, right? Keep the breath long, engage the back leg, lift the face away from the floor. Try to lift the knee a little higher. Extend it up and back, three-legged, inhale. Right knee, left elbow, exhale. Pause, lift it up a little higher, right? So you're really engaging those core muscles. Pivot the back heel flat if you like. Lean into the left hand and lift the right. So you can keep the knee bent, or you can extend the left leg straight in front of you. You can rest the pinky edge of the foot on the floor and draw the hips up and away from the earth. Can you breathe? Can you soften? Can you back off early if you need to? It's empowering to do that sometimes. Right hand back down, left foot back up. Inhale, three-legged dog. And step it up toward the left hand as you exhale. Back foot pivots flat. Pause.
Lengthen the spine, so maybe fingertips are on the floor. You can use blocks though. Hug the left bent hip back. Float the arms back. Palms face the earth. Collarbones wide. Imagine that the hands reaching back help to pull the shoulders back away from the ears. And if you need to lift the back heel, you can, but hug that left hip back. Steady the breath. Rooting into the back foot. On your inhale, rise up and reach up, warrior one. And then if you need to readjust the hips so they're not angled too far over. Be trying to roll that right hip forward, left hip back, right? It's all good. It doesn't matter how much you do. Do the right amount that just feels appropriate. And then a little shimmy side to side through the hands like you're climbing up a rope a little. And then taking the hands behind the head. Interlace the fingers with, just work one finger over. Let the head fall back against the hands. So the weight of the head falling back helps to open the heart. Elbows wide. Breath flowing into the heart space. Make it feel so nice. You could sink a little lower in the front leg if you like. Good. And then release, reach up. Inhale, stretch back. Hands to the floor. Exhale. Plank pose or three-legged plank. Inhale. Lower if you want to. Exhale. Everything's optional. Cobra. Inhale. And downward dog. Exhale. Remember, child's pose where we started is there for you any time. Okay, breathing and steadying. Maybe you're in the child's, maybe you're in dog. It's all good. Wherever you are, you're in your body. You're in this moment. All right, let's lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward and inhale. Pull the hips back. Walk or float forward, exhale, front of your mat. Flat back is your inhale. Melt in half into your exhale. Big toes are going to touch. Bend your two knees, coming to the chair pose, hips low, hands high. And then take your hands right there to your heart center in prayer pose. We're going to do twisting chair. So pivot to the right. Climb the left outer elbow onto the right thigh. And press the right hand against the left hand to roll the right shoulder back and down. You can kind of think of cobra with your upper back. So if your left knee jets a little forward, it's okay. If you want to slide the hip back and press the knees together, feel free. Breathing. Back to the chair. Inhale, hips low, hands high, hands stay together. Back to the heart with your hands as you exhale to the other side. Turn left. Hook the right elbow, or tricep really, on the left leg and press the left hand against the right hand to roll that left shoulder back. So can you feel a nice width across your collarbones? A softness in the face. There's length from hips to head. The belly can pull in a bit. And the breath is flowing smoothly. Good. Back to your chair. Inhale, hips low, hands high. Stand up as you exhale, hands to your heart. Whew. Roll the shoulders back, pull the belly back, draw the head back. Go ahead and separate your feet just hips distance here. Just right under your hip bones, so not too wide. Cool. And we're going to root into the right foot. And on the first, steady your gaze, steady your breath, always helps with balance. On your exhale, lift the left knee up. And just grab the leg if you like, hug it in, and find that length from the standing heel to the head, right? Head draws back, belly draws back. You might feel a little wobble, it's all good. Shoulders soften, breath flowing, steady the gaze, steady the breath. When you're ready, see if you can let go of the left leg, extend the foot forward, reach the arms up. You can take hands to hips if you prefer though. Can you pull the toes back? Now can you press into the standing foot to lift the hands a little higher, to lift the left foot a little higher, draw the belly back, draw the head back without leaning back, right? So you almost want to lean forward a little bit here. Good, take one more inhale, I know it's a lot. Just bend the knee without touching it as you exhale. And then we're going to open up the arms nice and wide. We're going to shift forward with the heart and extend the left foot straight back.
Palms face the floor. You can take both hands to the top standing thigh to help lift the heart and back foot, or arms out nice and wide, or if you want a little more of a challenge, hands reach forward, away from the back foot. It's okay if you want to bend the standing leg a little bit. Lift the back foot a little higher, take a big inhale, open wide. Fingers to the floor, exhale, drop the head. Keep the back foot lifted for just one more breath. You can lift it higher if you want to. Bend the knee, feet together, exhale. Flat back, inhale. And melt in half, exhale. Whew. Through the chair, bend the knees, lift the hands, inhale. Stand up, exhale. Don't worry, we're not going to do the twisting chair again. Roll the shoulders back, pull the belly back, feet hips width apart. We're going to go right into this other side, standing. All right, so first steady your gaze, steady your breath. You might feel your heart beating after all that, it's all good. Please back off if anything feels like it's too much. We don't want to create stress, right? We want to challenge ourselves to stay calm and resilient and equanimous during challenges so that it carries off our yoga mats into our lives. So, steady gaze, steady breath. That little speech was to help us chill out a little, not overdo. Root into the left foot when you're ready. On an exhale, right knee lifts. You can take the hands to the shin there or back of the leg there and just really hug it in. So you can find loads of length from the standing foot to the crown of the head. So head can draw back, belly can draw back. Soften your shoulders and face. And you might fall, you might wobble. It's all good. Just keep breathing. Come back if you lose it. No such thing as perfection. When you're ready, right foot comes forward, straightening that leg as much as possible. Hands can lift. Palms face each other. So the more you press down into the standing foot and reach up, the easier it is to lift the right leg. And it's okay if it's not lifting very high, right? Who cares? You're just practicing and playing and being really loving with yourself, not getting too frustrated. Noticing when that happens so you can back off of it because it's just yoga. Steady the breath, steady the gaze. Whoo, feel that right thigh turning on. Yeah, take one more inhale. Bend the knee without touching it as you exhale. Open up the arms, shift the heart forward, extend the right heel back. So it's sometimes helpful if you take the gaze forward so that the heart stays lifted, it doesn't collapse. Reach the right heel up and back. And just imagine you're kind of floating here, right? If the arms are out to the sides, it'll help with balance. If your low back is tight, hands to the top thigh. If you want to challenge yourself more, the hands reach away from the back foot forward. Standing leg bent or straight. Most important, breath is flowing. You're not overdoing. You're learning where your boundaries are and to honor them and respect them. One more inhale wherever you are. Open up. Fingers to the floor. Exhale, drop your head. One more inhale as the right foot maybe lifts a little higher. Bend the knee, feet together. Exhale. Whew, flat back, inhale. And melt in half. Exhale. Woo-hoo. All right, we're going to heel toe the feet apart. Just enough so the heels are under the hips. The toes are wide. We're going to squat. So it's called Malasana, Yogi squat. Hips stay on the earth, hands to the heart. So the arms are at the inner knees here. And as you take the hands down, it helps to open the knees out, right? And you're lengthening again. The head wants to jet forward, draw the head back. Soften the face, widen those collarbones if you can. And breathe. So toes turn out here. And then right fingertips come to the floor, out to the right where the knees pointed. Lift the left hand up. And just spread from hand to hand as wide as you can to like open a big wingspan here. If you want, you can turn the thumbs down and take the right hand behind that right leg. Take the left hand over to meet it if you want. And use that leverage to really roll the left shoulder back. Keep the breath flowing. Good.
And then wingspan out your arms again, right pinky down, left hand up, inhale. Hands to the heart, exhale, prayer pose. Good, take an inhale to elongate from tailbone to brainstem, draw the head back, draw the belly back, collarbones wide. Good, and then left fingers out to the left where the knees aimed, right hand up, widen out from hand to hand. Spread your fingers, open up. If you want more, palms back, thumbs down, right hand can come behind the back, left hand can wrap, and you can roll that right shoulder back. Totally optional. Breathe. Wingspan out the arms again, inhale. Hands to the heart, exhale. Good, hands pressed together and down, top of the head rises, inhale. Hands to the floor as you exhale. If you guys want to play a little, if you're feeling like you want to challenge, you can come onto the tippy toes, knees to the outer arms there. You can come into your crow pose, which I'm not going to do today because I have a shoulder issue, but feel free to play there. Otherwise, heels pivot out, feet flatten against the floor, drop your head and fold. And if you're in the crow, when you're ready, come into this forward fold. And wiggle out the feet a bit apart, so maybe the pinky edges of the feet line with the edges of the mat there. The inner thighs roll back, and then just take your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe the heels of the hands come together. Maybe wiggle around your head. Maybe roll around the shoulders or let the shoulders fall to the ears. And for a moment, just let the hands rest there on the low back. Just make it feel nice. Good. When you're ready, hands to the floor. Step back to plank pose. Final vinyasa if you want it. Inhale. Lower on the exhale. Cobra pose, inhaling gently. And downward dog, exhaling. Breathe. Let go. Find that nice stillness in your dog. Whew. All right, let's take the knees to the floor. Crawl them forward because time flies when we're having so much fun. And we'll roll onto our backs. All right. Hug your knees to your chest. If you want to rock a little side to side, rock a little side to side. Cool, and then just take the left foot onto the floor. Lift the right foot up to the ceiling. And take your hands behind your right leg here and just gently pull it toward you and play with straightening the leg. So the knee, if you need the knee bent, you bend the knee. Otherwise, pull the leg toward you so you get a little hamstring release. And then slide the bottom left leg all the way out on the floor. So you might even find a little release in the top of that left hip. So you might reach to the toes. You might just take the hands behind the thigh or behind the shin or ankle, whatever feels appropriate for you. Relax your shoulders, draw the chin a little to the chest here, and then press the back of the left heel against the floor. And see if you can reach up to the right foot by lifting the heart, lifting the head. Now, if this is too much on your low back, you're going to bend the bottom leg instead of keeping it out long. Reach up, reach up. Reach the foot away from the hands, but reach past the foot if you can grab it. Don't grab it. Keep pressing that left back of the heel down. Take one more inhale, reach, reach, reach. And release the head, draw the right knee into your chest. Open the right arm out to the right and take your right bent knee over to the left. And then let your right arm relax, your right knee and foot relax, your face relax. Oh, slide the bottom leg out long if you had it bent, sorry. And steady the breath, close the eyes. Take 2 or 3 really long, smooth, relaxing breaths here. So that you can just let go. We did a lot of moving. Enjoy a little bit of stillness and softness. Good. And then the next time that you exhale, pull the belly button in to take the bent knee back up. So you're going to roll onto your back here. Give it a little hug. Good. And then take the left knee in as well. Maybe a little side to side rock. And then right foot comes onto the floor, bent knee. Left foot lifts up to the ceiling or sky if you're lucky enough to be outside. And then you're just gently pulling the leg toward you, right? Play with how straight you can make the knee. And if it's bent, who cares? Right? If it's too much on your hamstring, the knee's going to be a little bent. It's all good. You're just gently pulling it toward you. So again, the hands can come up to the foot, the toes, behind the ankle, shin, or thigh, just wherever it feels nice. Relax the shoulders. And maybe this bottom leg, the right leg, can lengthen out on the floor, so you get a little release on the top of that right hip as well. You can flex both feet. You can draw the belly down, soften the face, soften the shoulders. And then letting go of this leg, reach up for it. So palms can face each other, lift the heart, lift the head, reach to the foot, and then pull the foot, reach the foot away from the hands, right? But press into the back of that right heel there. Good. And then lift the shoulder blades if you can. Pull the navel in if you can. Relax the neck and jaw and face if you can. Reach, 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 reach. Keep breathing. Yeah. So you might find it easier as you press into the back of that right heel. And again, if the low back's tender, the foot stays on the floor. Yeah. One more breath. Reach up. Good. Release the head back down. Hug the left knee to the chest. Go ahead and straighten out that right leg if the knee was bent. Left arm to the left. And exhale into your twist. Left knee over to the right. Let the left arm relax. The left shoulder soften. The face, the eyes, the mouth, the hip, the belly. Let it all soften into those exhales, right? You might notice again that there's more sensation at the top of the inhale and at the bottom of the exhale. On the next exhalation, belly pulls in to take the knee back up and roll onto your back, and then both knees into the chest. Good, and then we're going to take a happy baby pose here. So feet, hands to the feet, hands to the outer edges of the feet. Relax the shoulders, draw the chin a little to the chest, and use your biceps more than your shoulders, so maybe the arms bend, to just gently draw the knees toward the floor and see if you can shift the heels over the knees a bit. If you don't reach your feet, no worries. Take your hands behind your legs instead or to the backs of the knees. You can rock a little if you want to rock a little. Yeah, it should feel nice, you guys. And then whether you're holding the feet or not, open the legs out nice and wide. You might even shift the hands to the big toes here if you can reach. And if not, hands to the outer or inner thighs. It's all good. Play with straightening the legs. Relax again the shoulders, chin a little to the chest. Back body long. On the next exhale, feet come all the way up together to touch. And maybe you're still holding your toes. Maybe the hands are behind the legs. It's all good. If you want, I don't often teach this, but it's going to feel really good if you want to. You can take your hands to the floor, palms down. You can come into plow pose by just bringing the feet over to the floor behind you. And if the toes don't touch, you can bend the knees, let the knees fall toward the shoulders. If you can very carefully wriggle the elbows a little closer and support the hips with the hands, then do. I like to point my toes on the floor here, get a little stretch in the tops of the feet. And then when you're ready, maybe one leg at a time, feet come up. So the hips are resting there against the hands. Just make sure that the neck feels okay. You don't want to really turn your head here. Make sure the throat feels soft. And you don't want to have to effort. So the heels are stacked right over the hips. Soften the legs, soften the hips, soften the belly. Soften the face and just let the breath flow. Readjust anything that you need to. If this is too much, you guys, then you can just lay on your back and lift your feet up and just let some of that blood flow reverse. Soften the jaw and the mouth, the forehead. Bring your awareness here just to that almost that center point behind the eyes in the middle of the brain. If you want to play with the legs, you can take one foot to the floor, keep the other one lifted. If you want another little hamstring stretch, otherwise both feet stay up. We're only here for about 3 more breaths. And then coming back toward plow pose, feet to the floor overhead or knees bent toward the shoulders. So a lot of people like to take their palms down and roll out with core support. I personally like to take my hands to my ankles or heels and roll out, roll back down. So whatever is appropriate for you. And then when your hips touch down, give your knees another little hug, another little rock side to side. You might take the knees in a circle in both directions, massaging the low back. You might wiggle around the feet. And then when you're ready, I want you just to plop open into your Savasana. If there's anything that you want, some people might want to do a fish pose. Anything else you want, go ahead and take it now. And then meet us in Savasana when you feel ready. And please take advantage of Savasana. Please don't skip it. I know sometimes when we practice at home, we skip it. Like, okay, did all the moving, get on with my day or night. No, it's really the most important part of the practice, right? So let yourself land, let yourself drop in and drop back into this still, quiet, spacious place that you've created from freeing up blockages in your mind and body. So consciously soften the eyes, the jaw, the hands and feet, the belly. And then take a nice deep inhalation. Feel the top of the inhale, that fullness. And let the breath go and really let it go. Let yourself soften back, empty out, and relax. And then gently let the breath flow without altering it, without changing it. In other words, just let the body breathe for you and just experience it. Experience how soft the breath becomes, how soft the body can become, and as a result, how soft the mind can become. And just give yourself this opportunity to completely rest. If your mind is checking out, just ever so gently with compassion, check back in. You can bring your awareness, if you like, to that still point in the middle of the brain behind the eyes. Where really so much is happening, but nothing is happening. Is there a quiet there, a spaciousness, an inner presence? Almost like you're witnessing the deeper layers of yourself beneath the body and beneath the thinking mind. This essence, this core of you, this consciousness, the one who's breathing and thinking and moving. Just rest there. Get to know that place. Even if you touch into it for just a brief second, that's all good. So I would love to invite you just to stay as you are for another 1 or 3 or even 5 minutes if you can, but to honor our time, I'm going to start to end the practice today. So maybe taking a deeper breath, maybe wiggle the fingers and toes, or take a little stretch when you feel ready. But please stay longer if you have time. You can roll over and roll up, just gently, slowly, sensitively.